makinig muna sa mga mas nakatanda, mas matagal. Pakinggan muna, mag-observe muna, magalang masubat.
And Senator Coco Pimentel says that he is leaning towards joining Senator Risa Hontiveros in the Senate minority. Pimentel and re-electionist Hontiveros are the only sure members of the minority as of now.
Mag-uusap din kami ni Risa. Alam naman din ni Risa na una sa lahat, abogado ako. Number two, siyempre Senate rules are involved. So naging Senate President din naman ako. So I dealt with the Senate rules. And then number three, mas matanda ako sa kanya.
Filipinos are expecting a new administration and a new Congress as the country also marks the 5th anniversary of the Marawi siege, which is a long wait for residents to reclaim their homes and their lives. Can the new government provide a better recovery program for Marawi City? We discuss in this episode of The Chiefs. We will be joined by our guests and the other chiefs when we return. Welcome to this Monday edition of The Chiefs. I'm Ed Lingao. Also with us, Ana Marie Pamintuan of the Philippine Star and Lucy Cruz Valdez, the head of News 5. Ladies, happy Monday. And
Hello. Hello. Ed,
yeah.
It's just the two of us
wala si Ami.
for now. No. I don't know, we're waiting for her, but she's not yet online.
Yeah.
So,
I saw a shot of her office a while ago, so I was assuming she was already in it. But anyway, Lucy, what big stories are we looking at tonight?
Well, tonight, of course, ang number one story ay yung mga bagong appointments, di ba?
Yes.
Sa
Apat na
cabinet. At unti-unti nang nagkakaroon ng kalinawan, di ba? Ang mga bago, of course, si Boying Remulla, no? Si Congressman Remulla.
That's a crucial
Justice.
position, Justice Secretary.
Yes, very crucial position. And
we
then,
will
of
have him
course,
later with
diba,
us.
nagkaroon pa ng...
We will have him later with us, si Congressman Boying.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
that'd be good.
He's
Yeah.
going to be our second guest. Justice Secretary, also I'm not sure if it's a co-chairman or vice chairman, co-chairman ata ng Anti-Terrorism Council siya as a Justice Secretary.
Yes, that's right. Marami pang appointments ngayon, di ba, na in-announce. Of course, si Toots Ople, nominated, di ba,
Yeah.
for the OFW, migrant workers, ganyan.
Benny Laguesma.
Tsaka si
Laguesma.
sa labor, yeah, and sa NEDA, si
Yep.
Balisacan.
Arsenio Balisacan, formerly of Pinoy's cabinet. And of course, over the weekend, we had Vic Rodriguez as Executive Secretary
Of
coming
course,
in.
yeah.
So,
Yes.
yun. I suppose we're still waiting for D&D, the defense portfolio, and Foreign Affairs.
Madami pa di ba? And finance.
And finance, yeah.
And DOTR.
And finance.
Dami pa
Yeah.
Yun. So marami pa tayo abangan.
Mhm. Yeah. So anyway, so inintay pa natin magkalinaw ang cabinet, but at the same time, we're also looking at kung gaano kalinaw ang mga linyahan doon sa Kongreso, in particular.
Alignments.
Yeah, in
Exactly.
particular in the Senate.
We have the perfect guest for that.
Last woman standing. Okay, so now joining us is incoming Senator Risa Ontiveros. Ma'am, magandang gabi and thank you. Welcome back to the Chiefs. Thank you for joining us.
Good
Salamat.
evening and congrats.
Evening, Lucy. Salamat. Good evening. Ed.
Yeah, you made it.
I did. I almost didn't. Buti nakakapit. Buti
Well, yeah,
galing ng campaign team ko at mga allies. Of course, my
good
fa-
job. Yeah.
Well,
How did
Senator-
that feel? How did
Yeah.
that feel to be hanging on some kind of thread?
Oo
Di
nga.
ba? During the 11th.
Medyo nakapipigil hininga talaga. Per the surveys, at best I did 8th. Pero syempre may mga nangyayari. But still, buti I had that buffer and really preparation, no, and planning on the part of my team with the help of all talaga who helped. Kaya at least nakapasok pa rin, and I'm so grateful for this new mandate to have 6 more years para magtrabaho pa sa Senado.
Of course, it was a better showing than 2019 when the opposition was wiped out. However, at the same time, you also have a lot of people from the opposition leaving the Senate, graduate, o kaya hindi tumakbo for the Senate again because they ran for other positions. For example, Kiko Pangilinan, of course, ran for VP. Laila lost, and Dillon is on the way out na rin. So while the opposition was able to bag at least 1 seat among the 12, you're also looking at the 19th Congress or 19th Congress in the Senate, where you have much less in terms of number of votes in the minority. Teka, gaano ba kalino na ang minority ngayon? Nag-usap-usap na ba kayo kung sino talaga nasa minority? Kasi nalilito rin kami.
Nagsisimula, kaya hindi mananatili na much less for long or for the next 6 years. So nagsisimula ng mag-usap, one-on-one na muna, kasi ang dami pa rin naming tinatapos na trabaho just this 18th Congress. Ngayong araw sinimulan namin yung huling 2 linggo ng 18th Congress, and naghahabol sa mga bills na kaya pang tapusin. I'm so happy again with the stakeholders, the sectors involved. Ka-adopt kanina ng BICAM version ng anti-OSAIC, Anti-Online Sexual Abuse and Exploitation of Children Bill. So, i-transmit na yon sa Malacanang para sa pirma or pag-lapse into law ng presidente, no, ng batas sa ilalim ng presidente. And then starting tomorrow, meron kaming 2 araw, ang 2 kapulungan ng Kongreso bilang National Canvassing Committee para iproklama naman ang presidente at vice-presidente. And then at the end of next week, that's the only time na kumbaga i-close shop namin yung 18th Congress and particularly of the Senate and habol pa rin kami makapasa pa ng ilang mga batas, lalo na from my office, mga batas pa para sa pamilya-Pilipino at lalo na para sa mga kababaihan at mga bata. And it's after that, leading up to the SONA, na mas shape namin yung aming household, lalo na yung parte namin sa Minoria.
Okay. At this point, I think we have to introduce Ami Pamintuan.
Ami Pamintuan of the
because
Philippine
she's
Star.
now with us. Yeah.
Good evening,
Ani.
Senator.
Good evening.
Senator, narinig ko lang kanina, sabi ni Senator Coco Pimentel, interesado daw siya to be the minority leader. Kasi mas senior naman daw siya. Sa'yo, ano bang usapan dyan? Saka, at best, mga ilan kaya kasi yung ibang senators nagpaparamdam na rin na they will probably be joining the minority, no? Na magiging importante role in this administration. Ano bang takbo niyan? Sino kaya most likely?
Well, ang masasabi ko lang most likely sa ngayon kasi kami pa lang as far as I'm concerned ang nakapag-usap kami ni Sen Coco. So I'm really looking forward to that na buuin ang Minoria kasama niya. And we're trying to reach out to a few more. Sabi ng mga observers sa amin sa Senado, baka hindi lang naman siguro 2 lang kami, baka 3, sabi ng iba baka 4 or kung ilan man. Basta ang priority ko ay makabuo ng totoong Minoria, gaano man kami kakaunti or mas marami, pero para maging mabisa ulit sa check and balance, sa fiscalizing. At the same time, na tulad ngayon, kaya namin makipagtrabaho sa majority for bills, resolutions, budget interventions na are of common advocacy. So I was glad to hear Sen Coco also saying publicly sa media na he's leaning towards forming a minority with me. So we're leaning towards each other. So sa mga susunod na linggo, leading up to the next SONA, 4th Monday of July, ay mas makikita namin ng malinaw sino pa ang pwede naming makasama sa Minoria.
Yung Cayetano siblings
Wasn't it
po.
a difficult enough climb for you when
Super.
you were now in the Senate, when there were only 4 of you in the minority? How do you see the role of the minority with this, sabihin na natin, super alliance in the Senate under the new administration?
Itong 18th Congress, challenging enough, pero talagang para sa akin, yung pinaka not so secret weapon namin, a senior person like Sen Frank Drilon bilang aming minority leader, no? Naging Senate President na, yung institutional memory ng Senado bilang institusyon, kumbaga in-embody niya. And 4 nga kami, tas yung isa nasa preso pa hanggang ngayon, si Sen Leila. So on any given day, ang warm bodies namin sa floor ay 3. And yet I think na nakapag-assert kami ng papel bilang fiscalizers, check and balance sa loob ng Senado at bilang bahagi ng legislature vis-a-vis yung executive. At the same time na ang dami naming nakatrabaho ang majority. Again, we were able to make common cause on many occasions. At kahit ako bilang miyembro ng kasalukuyang majority, nakapagpasa rin ng higit 20 batas. And as today nga, yung anti-OSAEC is yet another one. Yun, nagawa ko dahil yung naging katangian na ng Senado, in its history, more than a century already, nakapagpakita talaga ng independence bilang institusyon. And may tendency, I think, ang mga senador maging bukas makipagtrabaho sa isa't isa. So that's also on my mind, in my heart, as I contemplate yung next task namin sa papasok na 19th Congress na pagbuo din ng Minoria.
From
Yun
your
nga ang inaalala ngayon ng mga tao considering the composition sa kanyang resulta ng election. Baka daw mawala yung independence kasi yan ang tingin ng tao sa 2 chambers, no? Yung House talaga traditionally ally dyan sa
Kakampi.
administration eh. Kakampi talaga siya eh. Pati yung minority doon, kadalasan eh. Kakampi actually eh. In your case, kayo yung nakikitang parang sumasangga, no? Hindi naman opposition, pero sumasangga. You think the spirit will be alive in this 19th Congress for the Senate, considering na may basehan ba yung pinag-aalala ng mga tao na baka pati Senate maging rubber stamp na lang ng Malacanang?
Well, siguro kung mathematically, hindi ko masisisi yung ilan na mangamba. Pero hindi lang ito simple math eh. Matimbang sa Senado ang kasaysayan at ang tradisyon niya. And even just in this outgoing 18th Congress, kita natin at naobserbahan ninyo sa media ilang beses tumindig ang buong Senado para sa independence, para sa critical thinking, para sa generating alternatives. Kahit 20 rin ang nasa majority at 4 lang kami sa minorya. So, at kung sa ngayon, iniisip ng ating mga kababayan, isa lang ang oposisyon sa Senado, pero ngayon pa lang, di ba, nagsimula na rin kami seryosong mag-explore ng pagbubuo ng isang tunay na minorya, gaano man kakaunti or mas marami, para i-exercise pa rin yung tungkuling mag-check and balance, mag-fiscalize, and at the same time, maging very productive pa rin legislatively. And beyond the Senate, hindi rin ako nag-iisa. And there is the opposition, patuloy siyang mabubuhay at mag-aayos at magpapalakas. And even beyond the opposition, well, tayong lahat ng mga Pilipino, in all our diversity, sa iba't ibang sektor, iba't ibang institusyon din, iba't ibang rehiyon, gaano man ka uncertain ang future na hinaharap natin sa ngayon, as far as we can see it, as of now, marami pa ring potensyal. So, hindi natin dapat bitawan yun.
But there are also major differences between 2022
How do
and
these
2016.
alliances get formed really? Because as far as I know, that's I mean, yung usap-usapan dyan, hindi naman yan parang you call for a meeting, all of you, and then you vote. It's not like a classroom voting where I nominate this and that. It starts with, di ba, parang one-on-one meetings, perhaps? Or how does it usually run, and especially in these times, no? I'm trying to imagine which ones among the winners, although we know that many of them are already kapartido ng administrasyon, no? But I'm trying to imagine, because there will have to be realignments for sure. There will have to be a minority for sure. How does that happen exactly?
Well, talagang magsisimula sa one-on-one talks. Inaalok namin ang isa't isa, usap tayo, and then, straight talking naman eh. So, pwede ba tayo magbuo ng minorya? Of course, greater numbers of our colleagues, mas maaga or mas mabilis makakapag hindi lang one-on-one, pero siguro small group, later on bigger group meetings, kaya nga majority. Pero I suppose it's a similar process on the other side of the aisle. Kami sa probable na magbubuo ng minority at yung karamihan ng mga colleagues na magbubuo ng majority. And then we go through the process, including of electing our leaderships. So, pero mag-unfold pa siguro yan over the next couple of months hanggang bago or just after the SONA, 4th Monday of July.
Yeah, but you're also looking at major differences between 2016 and 2022.
Yeah, go ahead.
For 2022, you've had almost all the major political parties backing the winning or the presumptive president, and you also have a huge margin that we've never seen before. I'm wondering how these two elements would impact the temperature in Congress as far as being independent is concerned. Kasi kahit paano, di ba, in the end, a lot of legislators, whether congressmen or senators, they also try to gauge the public temperature eh.
Well, hindi naman ako makapagsalita para sa House. And syempre, yung ganyang magnitude na bilang, impressive talaga siya. So makaka-impress hindi lang sa mga botante, syempre sa lahat ng political actors. And natural lang siguro, human nature lang natin na yung outcome sa public at large ay pwedeng mas probable na ma-mirror sa alignments in the institutions, whether sa amin sa Senado or sa mga counterparts namin sa House. And then yung pag-uusap tungkol sa mga komite, natural na pagsasaayos ng kani-kanyang household yan in both houses and then within the minority and within the majority. Well, particularly in the Senate na given the numbers of committees and the smaller numbers of legislators kumpara sa House, kahit kami sa minorya, traditionally, nakakapag-share din naman ng kahit isang komite. And I suppose yung overwhelming numerical mandate nung top elected officials, in a way magiging baseline natin yon politically for the next 6 years. That's quantitatively. Qualitatively, for one, inaabangan ko yung inaugural address kasi dun mas lilinaw ano yung magiging terms of engagement between the executive and the legislature, di ba? Ano yung mga legislative agenda na ni-articulate na pwedeng suportahan ng legislature, including the minorities, ano yung mga critical points na baka kailangan pa rin i-sustain yung mga critical perspectives and propose alternatives. I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see by 4th Monday of July. At least yung mga dagdag na starting points para ako, for one, and hoping to be part of the minority in the Senate, paano ako mananatiling responsible minority, responsible fiscalizer, responsible opposition sa ating lipunan.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Well, sir, ma'am, we wish you luck in the 19th Congress and pahabol na lang. Sorry, one last question. Melino na ba yung Cayetano brother and sister kung sila'y nasa minority nga ba o pag-uusapan pa lang ninyo?
Hindi pa malinaw. So, I guess each one of us, pati sila, still have to express ano yung preference nila in terms of affiliation within the Senate. Para sa akin, ang nakausap ko pa lang na may mas klarong inclination na magsama kami sa minority ay si Sen Coco. Pero tatrabahuin pa namin iyon in the next couple of months leading up to the SONA para makabuo kami ng tunay at gaano mang kaliit o mas malaking minoryang na pwedeng maging epektibong bahagi ng Senado, ako epektibong bahagi ng oposisyon, at kaming lahat epektibo at positive na bahagi ng ating lipunan.
Okay. Maraming salamat, Senator Risa Ontiveros. Ma'am, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
At ingat po parati.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, ma'am.
Risa.
And now joining us via Zoom is Cavite 7th District Congressman Jesus Crispin Boying Remulla. And he's also the incoming Justice Secretary nominee of the Marcos administration. Sir, maraming salamat for joining us tonight. Pang-take din natin to. Pero thank you for joining us.
Congressman,
Good
Secretary.
evening. I think this is my 5th time on Channel 5 seeing that today.
But it's always good to have you, sir. There's nothing better talaga than having a discussion kasi we're able to flesh out all the issues. Sir, but let me start off with this, sir. Of course, we have a different set of audience here. Your priorities for this administration as Justice Secretary?
Ang una siyempre yung efficiency. Kasi ang laging nirereklamo ng mga tao, justice delayed is justice denied, di ba? Yung mabagal na proseso. So yung flow ng lahat niyan dapat unang-una natin iayos yan para ma-attribute natin ang responsibilities ng bawat isa. Ginawa namin yan dati sa PMS nung nasa PMS pa, Presidential Management Staff, where ang aging ng documents, trace talaga namin from the moment that it enters our office to the moment that it has, when somebody follows it up. Kasi pag may follow up na isang document na pinadala sa opisina, dapat alam mo kung nasaan at kung na kanino.
Yeah.
Yun ang isa sa mga bagay na unang-una kong priority na maging efficient yan. Pangalawa, syempre, hindi ginawa na ng iba to, i-audit natin nga yung ating mga detention prisoners at yung mga nakakulong, kung dapat ang pakawalan, kung sobrang na matagal nakakulong, kung ano ang kanilang estado, at kung ano yung mga matagal nang hindi gumagalaw na kaso para malaman natin kung paano natin pagagalawin. At yan among others, no? Kasi napakalaki ng department, and mabigat yan. Pero ang malaking problema talaga natin, yung mga kaaway ng bayan, katulad ng cyber pornography rings na worldwide, na tayo ang sentro. Yan, talagang trabaho ng DOJ yan through the NBI.
Yes,
Kaya the task is very big. And there are many priorities. Everything is actually, the deadline is always yesterday.
Sir, let me,
Sa tingin-
susugan ko lang sir yung sinabi nyo kasi sabi nyo napakalaking kaaway ng bayan yan. Pero as well, in our interview a while ago, I'd just like to follow this up. Ang sabi nyo kasi ang pinakamalaking kalaban ng ating bansa ay ang malalaking kumpanya supported or allied with big media na sumisira sa ating nation state. Could you clarify, sir, what you meant by that?
Nangyayari na sa buong mundo yan. Ang tawag dyan, liberal hegemony, di ba? Yan ang tawag dyan, liberal hegemony. They want to impose Western culture on us. May mga bagay naman na peculiarly Asian na hindi naman pwedeng sabihin nila dapat gawin natin. Kaya lang, ini-impose natin at ginagamit, weaponized ang media para wasakin ng mga tao. And we've seen regime change as an example of that. No? Regime change. Marami nangyayari sa mundo na ganyan. Ang nangyayari nga, the nation state is under attack. The idea of the nation state is under attack. Ang gusto ng iba, i-impose ang kanilang ideas sa mga nation states. Yung kultura natin at ating kasaysayan, mahaba yan eh. Dapat unawain nila na kaya tayo ganito, yung kasaysayan natin, ganitong ating batas, ay dahil sa karanasan nating lahat. Example nga dyan, that probably is perfect is bakit mayroong 100% of ownership of media in the Philippines sa ating saligang batas. Di ba sa karanasan natin yan ng genocide, sa karanasan natin yan ng colonization na ginamit ang brainwashing, panahon ng Kastila, panahon ng Amerikano, panahon ng Hapon, ayan di ba? Kinakailangan talaga na unawain natin na kaya ganun ang ginagawa natin dahil ayaw natin na mapasakop ulit sa ibang tao. Ngayon, ibang klase na kasi ang pagsasako Ang pananakop ngayon, economic control na over nation states Sabihin natin totoo yun. Nangyayari na yan sa Africa through China and other countries nangyayari yan.
Yes, sir. But wouldn't it be too much of a leap to say that the nation state is under attack by, for example, the media?
Well, ito lang sa akin, Ed. Speaking on the side of caution, not really caution, but on the side of may nationalist leanings. Ang gusto ko, ang Pilipinas, mahalin ang Pilipino. Ayoko na i-weaponize sa media para i-brainwash ang Pilipino na, naku, sasama ng mga Pilipino, sasama ng mga leader, sasama ng ugali. Pag lumaki ng ganyan ng mga bata na walang paniniwala sa kanilang bansa, ano maiiwan sa kanila, sa atin sa future? Di ba? We should be able to guide ourselves also. Yan dapat, ano yan And at the same time naman, Ed, sa Constitution, malinaw naman may Bill of Rights, right of expression, free expression. Respetado natin yan. Ang sinasabi lang natin, pag nag-combine ng big business sa big media at ginamit ng big business ang media to weaponize, wasak lahat. Kahit na ibinoto, the most popular leaders in the world may have fallen by the wayside because of that.
So by way of policy under the Department of Justice and by way of executive action, ano pang pwedeng gawin ninyo to counter that kind of situation?
Sorry, garbled. Can you repeat, please?
By way of executive, pag nag-take over na kayo sa Department of Justice, by way of policy or executive action on department na yon, anong pwedeng gawin para ma-counteract yung ganyang sitwasyon? Ano
I cannot comprehend.
Okay, ako na lang.
I
Can you hear
didn't
me?
Yes, sir.
Can-
Sir,
can
Ami is
you hear
asking
me?
what you intend to do about it.
Congressman?
I didn't get the question. I'm
Yes, sir.
sorry.
Ami is
Anong
asking
reception?
what you intend to do about it in terms of policy or executive action. Yung concerns po ninyo, how do you intend to address your
Yes, Ami.
concerns via policy or executive action? Sir, can you hear, sir?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Can you
I
hear us
can
now?
hear, yes. Si Ami.
Through policy.
Actually, ano nga, opposite ka. Yung akin, to act with media, to be available to media para magpaliwanag at sana maisulat yung totoo. Di ba? The best solution there is to be transparent, to be available as much as you can be, para kung meron silang tanong, itanong na at para masagot. Kasi sino ba naman ang ayaw i-expose ang kamalian at kasamaan na mga nangyayari? Sino ba naman ang ayaw na makulong ang mga may sala? Di ba? Trabaho ko yun eh. Katulong ko dapat ang media sa paggawa niyan. Yung exposure niyan, welcome na welcome sa akin ang exposing. Kaya lang, huwag sanang i-weaponize. Minsan kasi, para masakit ng ibang tao, ginagamit talaga eh. May propaganda talaga, may PR jobs, PR hack jobs. Ano yan eh, mabigat yan eh. Karanasan ko yan, nakita ko yan sa buhay ko, kung paano gumamit ng PR ang mga tao.
Yes,
Pero
sir.
meron naman po tayong libel law. You think ngayon may proposal for example, si Senator Raffy Tulfo, ipupush daw niya na ma-decriminalize ang libel. He's from the media. Payag po ba kayo sa ganong proposal? Are you going to back that up?
Pag-aaralan, I will study that, Ami. Kasi we have to look at everything from within bounds of reason. Yun naman, at the same time, huwag naman maabuso yung law na yan para pahirapan naman yung mga media practitioner, di ba? Kaya dapat may balanse tayo. Pag-aaralan natin yan kung paano natin magagamit ang cyber law just to remind people that there should be responsibility in what they say. Tsaka yung fake news, para mawala naman ang fake news. Kasi,
Yun nga. I'm glad that you brought that up.
yes,
Kasi
yes.
when you say
Historical
weaponization of
revisionism,
media,
diba?
ang mas na-weaponize ngayon actually ay yung digital platform. And I'm sure you know this, no?
Yes.
Social media in particular. So bakit yung media or yung sinasabi mo big business media, in other words, you're referring to the traditional media or mainstream media, bakit yun ang nakikita mong wine-weaponize? Samantalang ang mas malakas na weaponization na nagaganap ngayon ay yung nasa digital. Diba?
Ano yan, Lucy? Nagsunuran na lang yan. Bali naunahan na lang ang big media ng social media. Pero ang social media ngayon, pumapasok na rin pati big business. Eh. Naroon na rin sila. Kaya lahat tayo in danger dito. Kasi nga, pag fake news na lumabas, pag brainwashing na lumabas, puro hate messages na lumabas, paano na lang ang bansa natin, Lucy? Can we give people a chance to perform well and not call them names all the time? May mga sulat kagad dyan, di ba? Ang una kong nakikita lagi pag sa ibang dyaryo, pag binanggit ang kandidato na si BBM, son of dictator, lagi masama kagad ang meron talagang keywords na ginagamit kagad. Ano ba yun, Lucy? Meron bang, ba't kailangan, bahiran mo kagad yung tao kung ang balita naman ay hindi tungkol doon, pero babahiran muna. Sana naman, maging mabait naman tayo sa bawat isa, wag naman ganon sana yung mga kasama natin sa media. Lucy, I'm part of media. I have a radio program. I've been doing that for more than 15 years. I know where I'm coming from. Di ba?
Pero sir, in the example you cited, what exactly was wrong with that? I mean, whether you go into legalese, whether or not it is libelous or whether or not it is not truthful, what is the dissension there? Ano po yung
Hindi nga
point
eh.
of contention?
Weaponize nga eh. Propaganda kagad eh. Hindi malinaw, hindi issue ang pinag-uusapan. Ang ginagawa, nilalagyan kagad yung bahid ang mga tao na hindi gusto ng ilang sektor o ng ilang political groups. Nababahiran kagad eh. Paano ka magkakaroon ng storya na maayos kung ang storya mo, mula simula hanggang sa dulo, kahit ang storya ay maganda, ang mga description ay lagi masama. But kailangan, hindi ko naintindihan yun. I just, for me, no, as somebody who's been through so much in politics, media, lahat na. Marami na tayong karanasan. I'm 61 years old. I'm disturbed by this kind of, this kind of, di ba, weaponized yan talagang political propaganda. Wala po paraan na tayo maging fair sa bawat isa. Di ba? Why don't we give ourselves, Filipinos, a chance to unite together? Why do we have to divide the country all the time?
Yes, sir. Pero sir, I need to ask you this as the incoming Justice Secretary, sir. What is legally wrong with that phrasing? I mean, are you looking at some policy change? Are you looking at some framing?
No, definitely not.
In the end, kasi sir, aren't we straying into content? Aren't we straying into editorial content, into what people, the right of people to express themselves?
Walang ganon, Ed. Let me
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Kaya ko sinasabi yan kasi I've been in the practice of media. Media has been trying to talk to me. Media is asking me questions. I am answering the questions the best way possible. Talagang ganun ako. Direct ako umanswer sa aking paniniwala sa nangyayari sa atin. Kaya kung iba ang paniniwala nyo sa politika, ibang paniniwala sa politika, okay lang Pero igalang natin ang bawat isa, di ba? Let's not call each other names or let's set the story straight. Huwag natin lagyan ng adjective. Hindi naman kinakailangan lagyan ng adjectives.
Okay, just moving on, Congressman. So, babalik lang ako dun sa tanong, na anong gagawin mo nga? Because you seem to be very impassioned about the media right now and its quote-unquote weaponization. But you're going to be the incoming Secretary of Justice. Does this mean that this will be one of your priorities?
No. I will open myself more to... Kaya nga, ito Maducci, pang ilang beses ko na nagpa-interview ngayong araw, I'm just being frank with everybody, but I will never weaponize that. I respect the Constitution. We will respect the Constitution. My duty is to uphold the law. Ang sa akin lang, ang sinasabi ko, let's love our country more. Let's not spread hatred. Puro hate. Para papunta sa hate lagi ang messages na maraming nagsusulat o kaya nagsasalita sa ating mga kaibigan. Sana naman, bigyan natin ng pagkakataon ng bawat isa.
Okay, you were elected lawmaker. Kung sakasakali, may itutulak ba kayong batas? You can propose, di ba? May itutulak ba kayong batas to improve the administration of justice, for example, or anything within your department?
Ano yan? Siyempre, iba ang lawmaking, iba yung executive, di ba? Sa executive, marami ka namang pwedeng gawin talaga para bumili sa administration of justice. Ang law is a longer process. Maghahanap ka ng budget, mayroon ka implementing rules and regulations. Sa executive, kaya ka nilalagay dyan, mas mabilis. Pwede ka magawa ng orders na makakabilis ng pagtakbo ng mga papeles, pagre-review ng mga kaso, pagpapakawala ng mga dapat pakawalan na, yung patawad, yung voice and pardon ng parole, ay gawin ng tungkulin, palumangin ng mga kulungan, di ba? At lahat bigyan nga ng pagkakataon. Ika nga, pwede pa nga, yung mga lalabas ng kulungan na matagal na punta ron, bigyan mo pa ng test na training, maraming pwedeng gawin na talaga para ma-reform ang mga tao under the justice system. That is my job actually. Ako lang, because I'm part of media, I'm comfortable expressing myself this way. Not as Justice Secretary, but as myself. Na sana naman, bigyan natin ng pagkakataon na wala munang hate speech or hate. Lagi na lang adjectives na nakadikit na parang ayaw mo pang bigyan yung taong mag-succeed. Allow the president to succeed because lahat naman tayo, we're in the same boat. We're one country. Why don't we allow our country to succeed? But kinakailangan harangan natin. Ilang naman appeal ko, that's why I'm very impassioned. I want us to be as united and as proud of ourselves as Filipinos.
Well, sir, I think we all want this country to succeed in
Yes.
our own little ways. So, sir, we hope to have you again. It's always very interesting to have you on board.
Salamat sa inyo. At,
Yes, sir. Sir, pag tumawag ko minutes, sir, ha? Pag tumawag ko minutes, sir, pagbigyan nyo kami.
Sabi ko nga, Lucy, transparency ang aking dito. I want to be transparent about everything.
Okay, sir.
Again, we'll hold you to that. Thank you.
Yes.
Salamat.
Okay, maraming salamat.
Okay. Sige, salamat.
Justice Secretary Nominee Boying Remulla. Sir, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Na po parating.
Thank you.
Please stay with us. The Cheese will be right back. Welcome back to the Chiefs on One News. And now joining us is Samira Gutok, a civic leader of Marawi City. Good evening, Samira, and thank you for joining us, and welcome back to the Chiefs.
Yes, good evening. Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Good evening.
Of course,
Good evening po,
you have Lucy and
I'm
Ami as well
Lucy.
online.
Good evening po.
Of course, we have you
Hi,
tonight
Samira.
to talk about Marawi. Exactly 5 years since the start of the siege. May 23, 2017, nagsimula yung siege of Marawi. 5 years.
5 years.
And you're from Marawi. How has it been since then? All those 5 years, going into more than 4 years since matapos yung gera.
Yung takot pa rin, Ed, alam mo yung war zone environment. Yung ground zero na yon, it's still a testament na nandoon yung, how do you call it, the concrete testament na wala pa rin na mababalikan. Kasi you can't build without any startup capital, startup money. So thank you to the President na meron tayong Marawi Compensation Act 11696. After so many years po yan na naitakol po ng civil society. Today was a march for the affirmation to return back to Marawi by civil society.
Affirmation to return.
Yes po, which is supposedly a guarantee of United Nations guiding principles on internal displacement. Pag naialis ka by force of war, conflict, dapat ibalik ka po sa iyong normal na sirkumstansya.
Pasingit lang, bago pumasok ang dalawang ladies. When you say affirmation to return, ano ba ang status doon ng mga residente ng Marawi? When are they allowed to return and ano yung mga conditions for them to be able to rebuild where they left off?
So yung yung framework of right to return ay nasa UN, no? UN Guiding Principles. This Marawi Compensation Act guarantees that there is some amount that pwede nilang mahanap sa gobyerno, mai-award sa kanila para sa kanilang pag-build ng kanilang property. So it will be based on the zonal or the market value or certain assessor's value po on the property. So the right to return is guaranteed by way na sila po ay babalik na ng gobyerno, especially those who want to return. Syempre, it's a choice. Kasi may mga shelters na po, ma'ams, Ed dyan eh. So may mga shelters yun ang issue rin eh. With the sheltered people in shelters still want to return. Magaganda rin. In a way. I mean, we acknowledge naman sa gobyerno.
May alternative na.
Oo, although maniliit yung mga property, mga shelters na yon outside of the ground zero. So, pwede pong bumalik. Those who want to return, syempre may mga property yan, may titulo yan. Itititulo sana. So, actually, you have to see the detail to detail eh, kung kailangan may titulo. Kasi isa pong touchy issue yan, Ed.
Yeah.
Alam mo na,
Yeah.
marami pong walang titulo.
Walang papel.
So, yun po. Yan ang ano doon
Tsaka,
na may
ano raw
property,
eh,
may amount.
Maluchi.
Is it true na meron daw sa rehabilitation plan, ang dami raw na wala ng mga dati nilang tirahan? Or is that what you're referring to as yung mga questions on titles? No? Pero ang dami raw yung dating property nila, natayuan na ng ibang building. So, paano yung mga ganun?
May
Hindi
trabaho.
naman na-dispossess, pero hindi na yun yung dati nilang pag-aari or hindi ba kasama yun dun sa return or affirmation to return?
Yes, Ma'am Lucy. Yung merong gagawin na board, itong batas na to, that will decide on such so-called, itemized details or concerns of land dispute. So merong 5 members or so yan, merong daw traditional leader po, Ma'am Luch. So dapat may mga local yan, natives, we call it the Maranaos, the community, cultural community. So merong traditional leader, dapat may lawyer daw, Sharia. So mga 5 members yan, may engineer, syempre kasi rehabilitation and construction yan. So they're supposed to have also look into an IRR, di ba po yung batas, Ma'am Luch? So that will be defined in such process. What's a reminder po for the President ngayon, no, si Sir BBM presumptive, is that kailangan po niya siguro igawan ng batas to prove nga that point na may concern siya sana, no, for Marawi, Bangsamoro, is that to award the lands back to people that especially covered sa military reservation, itong so-called many of these lands, no, in Marawi. So sana po to put into place that law that will recognize.
Yeah.
that
Pero Sam, I think what Lucy was trying to ask is, yung may mga reports daw na may mga buildings na naitayo kung saan dati may mga bahay. So pag
Yes.
ganung mga
yung mga nawalan
conflict ba,
kasi parang sa stadium.
paano mangyari?
Oo, yung mga
Yes.
stadium.
Yes.
Yun, ma'am, sa IRR, that will be covered po kasi parang hindi ko nakita po yung items doon na, syempre, those are specifics na the government has this planned out vision. They worked out with the Mindanao State University, etc., these stakeholders. So they built it already. Ito syempre, yung mga watchdogs or those groups na hindi nila nabantayan yun, private property ko to. So this IRR would work on the arbitration process, ma'am, would such define claims or award such kung may mga disputes, ma'am. So IRR is important din po.
So Mira, 5
itong members.
5 years after the siege, ang percentage ng original residents, ilan na nakakabalik? Saka yung percentages pa rin. Yung rehabilitation, ano na yung natatapos?
So yung vital installations po of the public hospitals, market, meron na pong na-build within the non-ground zero. So yung nakabalik naman po, kasi sentro kasi yan ng Lanao Sur, ang Marawi City. And Marawi City is the capital of many of our Islamic students of the country. Kasi nag-aaral dyan, mga Basilan, may mga taga-Surigao dyan nag-aaral Mindanao State University.
MSU.
So more than half, ma'am, actually have returned. What we're looking for in Ground Zero kasi is it's the critical, Divisoria, Menjola / Ayala. Downtown natin na Tambakan. So market / mosque capital center ng mga rallies natin, Ed, yung Bangulo, which is our Menjola. So yan ang dead for now. Yung walang ganong spirit of the former that we had in the past.
Dati it was a tourist attraction, it was a Islamic city. Kakaiba dito in most of the country. Sa ngayon, may pag-asa pa ba yung ma-revive within maybe in the near future? Yung tourism sa syudad.
Yung sinasabi nating intangibles yan, Ma'am Ami, na sana po nasa batasin ng Marawi Compensation, Ed, we're not just talking money. Yan po yung reiterate ko palagi bilang isang advocate na babae na hindi lang ang kinakailangan ng mga islang bakwit, evacuated peoples, are money. Hindi po nabibili ang ating dignidad o kaya ang ating karapatan sa ating pagbalik sa ating pagnormal na buhay. Kundi pati mental health, pati kultural, yung mga nawalang genealogy, these are things that are not negotiable by any millions of pesos. Kasi these are ancient folklore, who you are. So yeah, yun ang mahirap ma'am itangible into amount eh.
What about the peace and order, Samira? I mean, is it really stable now? Yung mga dating take over doon, na-neutralize na ba talaga yun?
Oo.
Or is the military presence so pervasive that it makes everybody nervous? I mean, may ganun din di ba? While the military is a reassuring presence, it can also be di ba, a cause for fear, uneasy fear, di ba?
Well, we have to give it to Mayor Mahul Gandamra, Marawi City, at saka civil society stakeholders na since the siege, parang naging talagang tutok sila sa peace and order kasi ngayon nga na-target eh. Kaya po nangyari yan sa atin because of the so-called insecurity. So, naging focus yon, CCTVs provided for, yung mga local patrols, dapat po may kagamitan ng mga police, ma'am. So, this is always a reminder rin sa Bangsamoro Police na talaga po yung sa BOL, connecting it, ma'am, Lutz, sa Bangsamoro Organic Law Ed, is yung combatants transition, ito mga MILF, para madagdagan yung police force na hindi lang Kristiyano, kundi local din na may mga MILF din na already left the jungles, dapat po input into place kasi sometimes nanggagaling din po sa mga disgruntled or jobless or people without sense of purpose na. Wala nang rebellion eh. Na pwede pong merong maano dyan na go to the other side.
But it's been ages since I've been to Marawi, so I have no idea what it looks like now. Ang sabi raw ng
Cold pa rin, malamig.
Ang sarap pag
Baguio of the
ang sarap pag umuulan eh. Okay. But government claims that Marawi is 72% complete. I don't know if by your assessment that is an accurate figure. And also when they say complete, what exactly were they referring to? Are they referring to public infrastructure? Excuse me, to private property, private lands, to commerce. Give us a picture, a better picture of Marawi City right now.
So
Also, just to add to that, hindi naman yung buong Marawing devastated eh. It's just
the ground.
Na yung downtown,
Ground zero.
kumbaga.
Pero we have to also acknowledge and cite din, Ed, yung home-based evacuees. Kaya it's not just Marawi that we talk about, but really people who have left.
Yeah.
So that includes evacuees outside, no, nasa Maynila. So ang na-design po ng ating academe plus task force and technical is the ground zero design, which includes a stadium nga. Yun ang sinasabi, wow, there's a stadium with a really large scale eh. Thousands of seats, bleachers. Oo. In a location na, well, yeah, yung sports has not really been so much a way of life. So that'll give some location for the sports to be supported sa mga kabataan, mga barangay buildings, schools, talagang nagbago nga yung mukha. Near the waterfront, nakikita mo yung yung Lake Lanao Market, wala na po yun. Yung stadium is there. So yung police stations ay set up pa yun at saka other infrastructure. So this is infra.
Yung public infrastructure
This is the public
is already
infra.
in place.
This is the government infra. Finishing up. The mosques, ang gaganda po. Grabe. So first time prayer na po, Ma'am Lutz Ami, doon sa Ramadan, this end, doon sa Grand Mosque. So that was an emotional moment po na, wow, at least meron na. After 5 years nakasimba kami.
Ako, Samira, simple lang ang tanong ko. Is the Marawi that's being reconstructed now better than the one that was destroyed? I mean, because yun na nga, Marawi is really it was such a scenic place. Is it going to turn out to be even better now with the rehabilitation?
Well, it is a design, no? It is a design well, some activists criticized na masyadong, Palafox was there. I mean, all this architectural na baka hindi masyado nababagay nga sa slow pace na kultura. But it had to take this exchange of fire para mag-build up again. We hope that it is for the best. The culture be preserved, but all the artifacts still have to really be reconstructed. Ma'am Lucy, it's hard to say actually. Emotional pa rin kami yung mga tao. But yeah, we hope it can get back people to normalcy. Really, start up the life.
Ko lang yung tanong kanina ni Lucy, no? Kasi nung siege nagulat mga tao, parang ang laki ng suporta ng Mautes You think their grievances are now sufficiently addressed para hindi na talaga maulit tong ganitong gulo?
Ano po, well, one of the impetus nga po for us to run for the Senate is to recognize Ma'am Ami, the Islamic schools, there's no law nationally to support nga the Islamic teachers around the country. So isa po yun na isang dinidemand is really support for the madrasas. So the salaries and all that. So the BARM is of course working on that. And so we hope that the block grant of the BARM gets to address many of the so-called needs for more studies to be recognized, Islamic, Arabic, tapos yung non-secular way of life na gusto nila ma-preserve yung the Puritan lifestyle, which we have to negotiate because as we grow into Christian-Muslim dialogue, makikita natin many Christians are living in Marawi City as well. Ma-recognize yun.
But to Ami's point, sorry, we're almost out of time. But to Ami's point kasi what are the chances na Marawi 2017 could happen again? Going back to her point back to her question na have the concerns been addressed, have the issues been looked into and farmed out and resolved?
There's a component in the task force plan po, Ma'ams Edna, yung preventing violent extremism. Sometimes touchy masyado, o sinong extremist are you calling us extremist? Yung sinasabi niyo, Maute is popular, hindi sila ginondem So you have to be very careful on the labeling of programs. So it's there. Some religious leaders are part of this preventing violent extremism. So at least may set up na mga programming na I think dialogue process yung mga mechanism.
And that's important.
It has to happen po. And the support for the PNP's technology, yung mga kailangan ng mga equipment still has to be continuously looked into. Especially Butig po, yan yung pinanggalingan po.
Butig.
Prior to the Marawi siege, Butig So supportahan din yung mga far-flung kasi it spills over to the urban pag hindi nabantayan.
Okay. Well, we're almost out of time, but let me ask you this. Looking back the last 5 years and looking forward, do you have anything on your wish list for Marawi? Kung sana lang pwedeng mangyari ito, ano yun?
Ano po, yung task force na yan or Marawi Compensation Board, hindi magaya yung Human Rights Claims Board na hindi naka-claim yung mga rightful people or people without documentation, ma-assistan. So my wish list po, Ma'ams, Ed, is that we have been communities na minsan paperwork is kulang. Sana po there's a way, a mechanism to be assisted.
Walang papeles sa Marami.
Oh.
Walang birth certificate.
Kaya napipilitan tayo. Remind the government that also non-paperwork is as valuable as also valid and accredited sana. So hanapan lang ng paraan how testimonial evidence becomes also part of a paperwork. No?
Yeah.
Part of paperwork.
Sakit ang ulo. Na-imagine ko yung sakit
May mga
ang ulo.
tititig dapat.
Okay, maraming salamat, Samira
Thank
Gutok. Always
you.
good to have you with
Thank
us.
you to all the
and always,
volunteers who helped.
A pleasure to talk
Salamat
to you.
po.
Thank you.
Salamat po
Tonight.
to the chiefs.
At ingat parati.
Lagi po. Thank you po.
Okay. That'll be all for this edition of The Chiefs. We hope what was discussed here will keep the conversation going. Before we go, a reminder to our viewers, mask on, watch and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Ed Lingao.
I'm Mami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star.
I'm Lucy Cruz Valdez of News 5, and we are One News.